So, Beth, what is the Bible to you and why is it important?
The Bible is important to me because, it's just God teaching me through his word, but you can just learn so much through it. And even though it's already happened, a lot of it, you can learn so much about what you're doing right now in your life and what God's talking to you right now about.
Yeah.
Even though if it was a word for someone long ago, it doesn't mean it's not a word for me now kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I just love that, there is a Bible that we can read, that, God left us something that we can continuously read, that we can immerse ourselves in, that, we can talk to him through it and we can learn from him through it as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I as a weird idea, I think that God is too big for us to understand. Mm-hmm. And so if we didn't have the scriptures, we'd have no way of trying to even comprehend the little bit that we do get.
Uh-huh.
What's it like for you reading the Bible? What's been your patterns? I mean, do you pick it up every 8 weeks and just randomly flip over a page and say, bang, God's saying that to me? What does it look like for you?
No, well, it's a bit confusing.
Okay, go.
But,
I like confusing.
No, well, I started off a few years ago. I wanted to read the whole Bible.
Cool.
And I did. I read it all through. But then if you came back to me and was like, oh, what'd you get from this? I'd be like, that's a book in the Bible? I would forget.
Leviticus would have been a great read.
There was just some I just didn't understand. I just read it chapter by chapter. I didn't really learn from it. But the best way that I do it is, I grab a book of the Bible and I'll read it. And I just recently read Acts. Yeah. Just through, and I had lots of questions to ask you.
Good questions, yeah. Good questions. I was like, whoa, Beth, you're dropping bombs here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I just like to read it when I have some time in the day. After finishing Acts, I kind of got a bit stuck on Romans. So I will admit I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm getting back into it.
Yep.
But I just read it bit by bit, and I've got highlighters for all different things. So, I've got yellow for miscellaneous and characteristics of God and stuff like that.
Wow.
But,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you mark your Bible?
Yeah.
So you mark this holy book?
Yeah. Well, we purposely both have the same Bible that has little notes.
Yeah, cool.
So you've got a spot for notes.
Yeah. So you actually use a physical Bible?
Yeah.
How old are you?
That's the thing is when I read the Bible through the year, it was on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this streak is never ending.
Yeah,
and then it ended and I was like, I think I'll go back to my Bible because you just didn't.
Do you find that easier to grab hold of than the digital versions?
I prefer the physical book.
Yeah.
I think even if I was to read a different book, I'd rather read a book than it digitally on
something about it, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I can't concentrate when I'm reading it on the phone. I don't really grab a hold of what it's saying.
Yeah, take it in.
Yeah, I don't take it in. I do it much more when it's a physical copy.
Yeah. And
because I can highlight and really, not just highlight it, I can circle it or underline it and highlight it.
I love it.
Then add the notes in.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love trashing your Bible.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we did with the junior youth.
That's right. Yeah, when we were focused in different areas, we got to. It's something that gets into us, but we've got to interact with it.
Yeah.
All right. So you threw out there the Book of Acts, and the Book of Acts is about how the first generation followers of Jesus, after he's ascended to heaven, then actually took this faith to actually do something.
Yeah.
And it sort of follows their intrepid adventures.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting that you mentioned, and you circle back to Romans, and, certain things can bog down because not every book in the Bible, and the Bible is 66 different books across an Old Covenant and a New Covenant, not all of them are sit down and read like novels. Some are.
Some really you can read it all in one bit and just grasp so much. But then some things you can really slowly go through it so you can actually understand what you're struggling to understand.
Yeah. What's helped you understand the ones that maybe are, whether they're going with really deep ideas, or the other thing I find is that wow, this is written in a different time in a different world, and I'm not really clicking with what's going on. What's helped you?
I like to, if I've read it and I'm really stuck, I'll either ask questions or I actually go onto YouTube or podcasts or something and I might find a church or just, a Christian person that's kind of done a download on it. And I like to really listen and see what other people take from it as well. Because you kind of get... You kind of realize what's going on a bit more. You can hear what God's speaking through them, but then I can go back and be like, okay, so they said this about this.
Yeah, sure.
So then what's going on in this bit?
Yeah, like a context for it.
Yeah, because I find that easier for me is when I can really listen when I don't understand what's actually going on. Like, obviously I'll pray and ask God to help me, but if I'm really stuck, for me, that's what I like to do.
I think that's really helpful. And I like that about you, Beth, is that you'll search a matter out and you'll dig deep into things. It's interesting. I think it's in the book of Proverbs. I'm not great at reciting all scriptures. I don't memorize things like that. I sort of just remember where things are in the vicinity. It's like pin the tail of the donkey. I may not get it on the back of the donkey, but I'll get it on the board.
No, I'm the same.
But I believe in Proverbs it says that it's the glory of God to conceal a matter, the glory of kings to search it out.
Okay.
And I think that we get to be invited as like kings in the kingdom.
Yeah, to really search it out.
We can understand it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a bit of chewing over. Sometimes it takes asking questions, getting stuff. I don't know what's helped you. What some good things that have helped me that are just easy access is there's a YouTube channel called The Bible Project.
Yeah, I recently when I was doing Acts, I watched one of those. It was just a short one though.
Very short, just gives you context.
Yeah.
Usually they do it with animation and then they're telling you what's happening, but you can get like a 5-minute overview of Acts and that just helps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing is that when Paul started to journey a lot and travel, I heard of the Bible Project and I was like, I'll have a quick look at what they do on it.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because, they really stated the period. You can kind of visualize what's going on, what he's doing and all that. And so that kind of helped me in that sense as well. I was like, I didn't know I needed that, but it was nice to have.
But it makes a difference, doesn't it? And then I often find it just all starts clicking in. And so I found that the Bible Project's really helpful. It's bite size. Just maybe watch one of those videos before you start reading a book and it's like an introduction. The other thing I found is there's a free study Bible. Now, this is a digital thing, but I think it's okay to have I think it's perfect to have a physical Bible.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got your phone there on silence. You're not getting distracted. And there's a thing called the Faith Life Study Bible. It's free. And, man, a good study Bible can really help you because you'll be reading along and you say, I don't understand that. And if you just have a study Bible at hand, what a study Bible is that it's bite-sized commentary on key verses.
Yeah.
And just having that there, I'll look over and I'll say, okay, so that's what that's about. And I'll just, again, connect the dots. Now, it doesn't always talk about everything.
Yeah.
But usually if you find you're reading the Bible and you say, that's interesting, most people have thought the same thing.
Yeah.